Party leader.
Thank you, and thank you, Comrade Dean Campbell. First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here this afternoon, taking the time to come on Sunday, and for the persons who organized it. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be in Clarendon with you this afternoon. Comrades, we are at a junction now where Dr. Peter Phillips has indicated that he will be retiring and that he wants to leave as soon as he can leave. And at the party, through the NEC, a week ago, set the timetable for doing that. And as we know, there will be an election on the 7th of November to choose the new leader of the party. The party is at a particularly low ebb in its history right now. We have just suffered a major, devastating defeat in the polls on the 3rd of September. We only have 14 members of parliament out of 63. And if you look at it, comrades, the trend in the party has been heading in the wrong direction for quite a long time now. If you look at the voting patterns, the volume of persons supporting the party has tended to be going down. We had a little upswing in 2011 for various factors that were at play then, but the general trend line has been not in our favor. And the JLP, on the other hand, has been showing that it has been able to increase its attractiveness and its voter support over the last, since 2002, I think, really started. So comrades, what are we going to do about this? We can't let our party just keep going down, down, down. We have to rebuild our party, and we have to make it strong so that it can be competitive against the Jamaica Labour Party in the next general election. We all know that we've had a series of leadership contests over several years. When P.J. Patterson stepped down in 2005-06, there was a contest. Arising out of that context, there were persons who weren't happy, and there was a strong feeling we were not divided. There was a challenge in 2008. There was a challenge last year. And all of this has really resulted in a sense that the party is not united and together and not knitting as one. My message to you, comrades, is we've reached a point where we cannot continue like that. We have to put those things behind us. Fortunately, those things are not based on any kind of ideological differences. It's not a situation where somebody is saying they believe in this type of ideology, another person is saying they don't believe in that, they believe in something different. Nothing like that. It's not about policy issues either. It's not like somebody saying, I don't believe in free enterprise, or I don't believe in free education, or whatever it may be. Nothing of that nature. It has been about primarily persons' dissatisfaction with the style in which others have conducted themselves, disrespect that has been perhaps laid at the feet of one person in the party versus another, personal issues that have been allowed to fester. But comrades, if we can get the party together, focused around a common purpose, we can rebuild our party. We have to strengthen our organization. We have to make major changes in how we operate as a party and bring ourselves into the current paradigm of political organization. We must start, as has been said before, with the base of the party. We have to make our party workers feel that they are loved by their party, that their party has their best interests at heart, and we need to do something to show that tangibly for them. And I plan to establish a trust fund for party workers, which I'm going to endow myself personally, and I'm going to raise other funds for it. Because I'm tired of seeing situations where party workers, having served the party for many years, live in really deplorable conditions, and the party is unable to do anything for them. I want to name that trust fund after the man who actually started the People's National Party and brought Norman Washington Manley into the party to lead it. His name was O.T. Fairclough, and he was comrades. Apart from that, we also need to empower our workers. That trust fund will not only deal with issues of welfare, but we'll also look at education and business opportunities that party workers may want to get into and help strengthen them around that. But separate and apart from that, comrades, political education, we have paid lip service, but we have not really focused on it. And we need to focus on it. Training. We need to train our party workers so that they know what they're doing on election day. In particular, what I find is quite often the JLP seem far more organized on election day than we do. That never used to be the case. I want to welcome Comrade Butch Asker. Long time. Yes. Greetings. Yes, greetings. So, and it can't just be about training them in what to do on election day and so on and how to canvass. But a lot of our party workers have lifestyle issues, how to manage diabetes, hypertension, a little bit of financial literacy, you know, what is the difference in cash flow and profit when you're running a little business, trying to basically enrich their lives through more knowledge, make them more effective people. And we need to set our groups, tasks in the community, and give prizes even for the people who do the best community work, so that being a member of a PNP group has meaning again. And the people in the community can see the PNP as an active grassroots organization. I think these are important things we need to roll up, comrades, because our group structure has been done and so on. I think, comrades, we also have to look at the constitution of the party, because persons who join the party as members, I think, should have full voting rights. Because what has happened with the system we have is that the delegate system, I think, is no longer the ideal system. We have 3,000 or thereabouts delegates, and that is what we'll apply now. Going forward, we need to bring people into the party and increase our membership. And I think with technology and so on, there's no reason why we can't have every member being a delegate in his own right or having a vote. And it'll be less, and it's a less corruptible system. Yes. And that is very important, comrades. Because I personally don't agree with the idea of people selling their vote in the party. That is not the right approach. People must be committed and make decisions based on what is best for the party and not other considerations. So, comrades, I think that's an important aspect of what we do. And we must make it much easier for people to join the party. Right now, you have to go through a 7-month process, I believe, before you become a full member. Yeah. I mean, it's very hard. An organization that wants to bring in people can't make it so difficult to become a member. And with affiliates and arms, the YO, we know that we're weak in the area of youth engagement. We know that the JLP has done better than we have at that. That never used to be the case. No. We were once a party with a strong youth presence. And I believe the YO has been marginalized to an extent by the party. And we need to bring them in to the decision making and nurture them, and mentor them, and strengthen them. So that the youth of Jamaica can see the PNP really raise young people. And it's about empowering young people. The women's movement as well, we need to support the women's movement and encourage them. And I think we need to bring in some organizational experts to look at the different affiliates and to help them to strengthen their own organizations as well. So that we really have a party that is firing on all cylinders. I want to bring in a team builder or mediator into the party to help us to get some of these interpersonal conflicts that bedevil us. Get somebody who's really full-time about managing those things before they fester and get out of hand. And in fact, build out a cadre of that, train persons to be good in mediation so that even in constituencies on the ground where people may have some difference, we can really try and bring them together and sort it out in a way that reduces tensions. And we get past this thing where we have a constant bickering and so on and really move towards a common cause. And what is a common cause, comrades? The common cause must be the articulation of a set of policies and programs that is consistent with our commitment from the day the party was started to empowering the Jamaican people, achieving better justice for the Jamaican people, social justice, economic empowerment around the principle of equality. Each Jamaican is as worthy as any other Jamaican. Those are the bedrock principles. We call it democratic socialism in an era when ideological differences were very common in the world. Personally, I don't think it's helpful from a marketing perspective to be too hung up on slogans now. but the principles matter, and we must be true to the principles. And those principles always guide what we do. And the need for a People's National Party is still very real in our society. The Jamaica Labour Party are not committed to the same ideals as we are. That is why we have a school system which is not fair and equitable. Some children in Jamaica do not get the same opportunities educationally as others. And we have to tackle that. The next PNP government must be fully committed to uplifting basic early childhood development and primary schools, so that the children who matriculate from primary school into high school are of basically a similar standard. Obviously, some are super bright, some are average, some may have learning disabilities. But what we have is a situation where some high schools are getting large numbers of children who are functionally illiterate and don't have mastered the basics. My own constituency, Charleston High School, the average grade coming in the GSAT, and I'm familiar with the PET scoring system yet, but in the GSAT scoring system, which was out of 100, the average maths grade of the cohort coming in was roughly 30%, and the average in English was 30 to 40%. And these are children coming from the primary schools around the community. But yet there is another primary school in the community, Iris Gelly, which produces 60 to 70 students every year that get into the top schools in the country. So the education system needs to tackle the root cause problems, and it includes outreach and parenting and all of that. It's not a quick, easy fix, but we need to focus on that, because that is where we can transform the Jamaican people and make them productive first world citizens. And crime and violence problem that we have, comrades, stems from some of these issues, because we have people who are marginalized. They leave school alienated, they haven't been able to reach very far in school, and they have no subjects and they have no prospects. We have to really tackle it early, because that's my own belief. I don't think you can solve problems like that when they're already fully they've taken root and the person is already way behind where they should be for their age. Get it right early, and that's where I think we should. So that is just one example of what I say when I say the mission of the PNP is incomplete, and there are others. You know, we need to build a strong economy, because the strong economy can generate the revenues for the state that can deliver the social investments to uplift our people. And so we are committed to continuing the work of the last PNP administration, where we did all that heavy lifting to rectify the economy, turn the debt around, all the macroeconomic variables were put back on the right track, and the JLP inherited a very strong base on which they could operate. So, in a sense, we sow and they reap, which is, of course, very unfortunate for us, because had we got 3,000 more votes and won one more seat, we would have remained in government. And it shows you what bad political practices and weak organization can do. Because the government of Portia Simpson Miller, with Dr. Peter Phillips as Minister of Finance, I think was one of the best governments Jamaica has had in recent times, because we achieved a great deal for the country, but we never achieved electoral success. Others inherited it. Yes. So comrades, what do I bring to the table? And why am I offering myself now? Some of you don't know me. Look upon me, look like an uptown youth, privileged son of Jamaica, who want to come, you know, run, be the president of this party that comes out of the socialist tradition and is a mass-based party. Truthfully, comrades, I'm a multifaceted individual, you know. My father was Jamaica's first orthopedic surgeon. He came here from overseas in 1953. And there was an epidemic of polio soon after he arrived. And it was like the pandemic of that era. Norman Manley was the premier at the time and put him in charge of the medical response to that, because he had seen polio in Egypt, where he had served during the war. And he just fell in love with Jamaica, as many people who visit do, and he's committed his life to one of service to the Jamaican people. My mother was a public servant for her entire career. She joined what's called the Central Planning Unit, which is now the PIOJ, as a young administrative cadet right out of university. And she worked there for around 10 years, and then when she got married to my father, and they had 2 children, she moved to the Mona Rehab Center that my father had started in the polio epidemic. and work there, basically as a volunteer for the rest of her working life. So I come out of a family that is committed to service.
I must say you're born a foreigner.
Yeah, man, I born a UC, man, July 19, 1965. Grow on campus, college campus. He's a shampoos around Hermitage and Augusta, right? And we used to fish in the gully and when rain fall and the river run and play ball and cricket and everything, like Jamaican youth, and grow up. And as a teenager, we start getting like the rebellish vibes and start move out and around, you know, start go jollof dance and experience them thing there and everything that goes with it, and I'll tell no lie. And Kilimanjaro, Supercat and Early B, and Brigadier Jerk on the microphone stand at Jollof, and start love the music and the vibes of the people.
That's why you're DJ, bro.
Yeah. And that's, to be honest, comrades, that's why when we start long later now, when we get into the politics and thing, when Dr. Davis offered me the opportunity to come on as executive in South St. Andrew, I say, yeah. Because I rate Trenchtown from them time, they just in my head as a home of Jamaican reggae music come out to the ghetto there. So that's why I went there, you see. So that is me, comrades. I'm a commercial lawyer. Me and this man are par for years. I'm a big brother still. 5 years or whatever older than me. We were at school together. I was in first form, he was in sixth form. I vote for him to be my farm captain, my house captain, in his first election, which he won. And when I became a lawyer, he was a young banker. He had done very well at Citibank, and some men, senior men wanted to, they formed a company called Manufacturers Merchant Bank, and they hired him to run it. And he was very innovative at the time, and he needed a lawyer who could manage the innovative work. And he brought me in and I was helping him. Chris Deering, who I knew through cricket, because he used to play cricket, he's bad on the cricket when I was a teenager. Play sunlight when I was in second form. Yeah, man. And Chris Deering was a little older than me too, but I knew him through cricket. And him and they were schoolmates, same year. So Chris now started giving work to, and eventually we said, well, we do all this thing, why we don't do our own business? And we started a company called Deering, Bunting and Golden, And it went from strength to strength. Trisha Mother, Joan Duncan, pioneering the business of money market activity, reached out to me too, because I knew Donna, her sister, through she used to work with manufacturers. So it was the legal work for them, and soon all of the financial sector, I was doing a lot of work for them, and I built a good practice, and I was doing DB&G work and things. And then we sold DB&G, and I said, yeah, I mean, I really have to worry now about 24/7 law work. We can give something more to my people then. And so I decided to get into the politics. And Portia asked me to be a senator in 2007. She didn't even really know me. I mean, I don't really know her neither, but I guess Omar Davis, who I knew through the financial sector, must have said that you know him have some potential, rope him in. So I just come in as an opposition senator, and I was love the legislation, because I need that as a lawyer. I'm kind of good on them things. So I was just playing my role, and eventually when I became treasurer of the party, he was general secretary. We worked as a team, pay off all of the old debts of the secretariat, get all the statutory up to date. Bring in auditors, audit the accounts, produce financial statements, publish them to companies in the private sector. Yeah, transparency with like that.
Treasurer and there is treasurer.
And we start get good support. And the JLP that mess about with the whole do this thing, and them could manage the IMF program and them abandon it, and people just come to our side and boom, 42 seats and win, and we do a work, and I was made Minister of Justice, and as you can tell, kind of tune into the culture, the inner city and the grassroots people, and we know the ganja is a thing where was used oppressively against young man in Jamaica. And I said, no, when I say Obama look like him want to ease up the thing a little, we just jump in through the gate and say, we got through to so. And we decriminalize it and take away the power of arrest and prosecution and criminal record for the youth them. And thousands and thousands of Jamaicans. we never use it enough in the election because we don't know why. But to me, that we should have really take to the people, say that was a liberating thing that we did as PNP. Because that ganja had been an oppressive thing for many, for Rastafari and other people, youths around the place for years and years and years. And we said, no, that has to stop. And we deal with it. And many other different things. So anyway, comrades, South St. Andrews is my home now. You know, that is my political home. And people and me get along. You know, we have a good understanding. I'm a caring person, so I try to help everybody who needs help, you know, and deal with them in a real way. And in the last election, we get more votes than any other PNP candidate. Yes. And that was a reward, I think, for the service. PNP YO, as I said, the youth them, although them say, me now wear green clocks and me not name bro God and you know, all them little things there, so me are 55, like me a old man. You know? I still have life in me, man, I'm not old. And the youth them check for young people. And the PNP YO in South St. Andrews is the strongest in the country, I tell you that. We have, so I big them up and bring them in. We have over 100 active members. I had to sign certificates of appreciation because they had their annual conference in the constituency last week. And the head of it, the young youth named Tajay Farmer, had the idea of giving a certificate to each member, you know? So they can have something for sure, you know? And it's a cool man, and give me the little invoice for the printing and we'll deal with it. And when they send the envelope now with the certificate for me to sign them, man, I want pile, so you know, no signing, they say, so we really have so much people in it, man. That is really good, you know. So the youths are the future, and we have to bring in the youths and the young people and let them know that PNP is a nice place to be. And PNP cares about people. So, comrades are the private sector. They know me well. I've worked with most of the bigger heads in the society. They trust me. They trust me. Because they know something I mix up in a banger and how I deal with people, I don't really have no enemy in the People's National Party as far as I know. I don't carry belly for people and feelings, you know. If a person deal me away and I don't like it, I still not make that bother me. But even Fitz, the other day, me and Fitz catch up in a little foolish thing, and Fitz had issued a press release and this man. I don't feel no, I don't respond to it, and me and Fitz operate in the same way. You know, see? Yeah. So, in fact, more of Fitz vote for me too, you know. So, I just so move, and I feel we can bring this thing together. I feel so. Because I feel we don't have to like one another, but we have to love one another as comrades, you know. So Tom and Mary may have an issue over some foolishness or something serious still, but at PNP them have to love each other and have to work for the movement and carry the thing forward. Because we have to rebuild this party. Norman man the party, Micah man the party, PJ Portia and Peter Phillips. Can't make it go down. People of Jamaica need us. Need a party with a sound set of values that are focused on uplifting the people and redressing the social ills of the country, the historical injustices that our people went through. The journey is not yet over. You know, and we have more work to do. I'm committed to trying my best to rebuild this party and make it strong and to win the next election. And it's really not about me, trust me, because this is not something I had even thought of doing until the 3rd of September, and I said most of the leadership not in Parliament, you know, and I said, wow, so who are going to carry this forward is after Phillips go? I'm going to look around and I say, We never feel it. I know, and I'm saying the stars are aligned, you know, you have to step up. I'm scared, you see it took me a few weeks to step up now till I line. But we did it now, and we'll give a best shot. And I feel we can bring the people them together and move in a common direction, and we can build up the party, and that's what I'm about. And you know, I feel that the wider society would like to see somebody like me running the party as president, I want everybody's support. I can't do it alone, you know. I'm just one little man. But if I and I come together as one, we can take it to them. Now that's what